Hello, and thank you for tuning in. This video is about 3 different Trick or Treat Studios masks that were all made from the same sculpt. And that sculpt is Justin Mabry's Psycho. And from this amazing sculpt came 3 amazing masks: the Boogeyman, the Elrod, and the Tramer. Now, from what I understand, there may have been some retooling in between the different productions of the masks. Let me know in the comments if that's true or just something that I heard. Here we go, let's get into it. Okay, first up we're going to talk about the H2 Tramer mask. Now, this was the first mask released under the Trick or Treat Studios name using the Psycho sculpt. When this came out, and still to this day, a lot of people will take this mask and convert it into an H1 Michael Myers mask. You can search YouTube and even on Google Images for some of these conversion masks, and a lot of them look incredible. A funny story I have about this mask is that I once posted a photo of it in a Halloween 2 Facebook group, and half the people didn't know what it was. Now let's move on to the second mask that was made using this sculpt under the Trick or Treat Studios brand: the H2L Rod. Now, a lot of you may be thinking, well, Justin Mabry released this Psycho sculpt as an H1. Why is the Elrod and the Tramer released as an H2? That's because Trick or Treat Studios was yet to obtain the licensing for Halloween 1. They had the licensing for Halloween 2, so they released them both as Halloween 2s, the Halloween 2 Tramer and the Halloween 2 Elrod. Now, the difference between this mask, the Elrod, and the Tramer mask is fairly obvious. The hair is completely different, as is the paint. But the difference between this mask and the Boogeyman is a lot more subtle. Now, as far as the paint goes on the Elrod, comparing it to the Boogeyman, they're almost identical. The Elrod you're looking at here has a little bit more flesh tones on the neck and chin, but aside from that, it's hard to tell the difference. But when you compare the hair on the Elrod to the hair on the Boogeyman, they're completely different. The Elrod hair is a lot shorter, thinner, and it's basically one big rug glued to the head. The Boogeyman is more like traditional Michael Myers hair, if you know what I mean. Okay, so now we have the third and so far the final mask made by Trick or Treat Studios using the Justin Mabry Psycho sculpt: the H1 Boogeyman. Once TOTs got the licensing for H1, they released this mask and discontinued the Elrod. Now, as you can see, the differences between this mask and the Tramer are self-evident. But the difference between this mask, the Boogeyman, and the Elrod, some would say are slightly more subtle. Now, the paint on the Elrod and the paint on the Boogeyman are very similar in my opinion. The only variation I can see is the amount of skin tone shown on the neck and underneath the chin. Now, the main difference between the Boogeyman and the Elrod is the hair. The hair you're looking at right now is on my personal copy and has been misted slightly black over the brown like it was in H1. Let's take a look at the differences in the hair from a side-by-side comparison of 2 masks fresh out of the bag: the Boogeyman and the Elrod. Okay, so we have the Boogeyman on the left and the Elrod on the right. Now, the hair on the Boogeyman is far more like a traditional H1, H2 hair. I'm not sure if it's mohair or camel or what. Maybe someone could leave that information in the comments. The Elrod, in my opinion, seems to be haired with something totally different than the traditional mohair or camel hair that's usually used to hair the H1 and H2 masks, although I could be wrong. Whatever it is, it's short, black, thin, and it's really hard to get off too. If you've ever tried to rehair an Elrod, it's like a rug with the hair on the rug that's glued to the mask, instead of just hair lined and glued to the mask like a traditional H1, H2 TOTs mask. And here's a shot of me toying with the hair on each mask just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. The hair on the masks are different lengths, colors, and textures. And here's a turntable spin of each mask with the hair styled, hairsprayed, and gelled. Okay, so there you have it. Those are the Trick or Treat Studios masks so far that have been made using the Justin Mabry Psycho sculpt. If you have any more information on these masks or this sculpt, or if I missed something in the video, please leave it in the comments below. Thank you for watching.